Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about electromagnetic theory and transmission line subject previous examination question paper, that is R13 regulation supplementary examination question paper in May 2018. So now here in this video only discuss about Unit 1 previous examination questions and explanation. So first we are going to discuss about short answer questions. So what are the short answer questions in this unit? In this year, the short answer questions in unit 1 are: find the electric field intensity capital E at 1 comma 1 comma 1 if the potential is V is equal xy z square plus x square yz plus xy square z. And question number 1b is: what are the boundary conditions for the electric field at the perfect dielectric conductor interface? At the perfect dielectric conductor interface. So these two are the short answer questions in unit 1. And essay type questions, question number 2 to state and prove Gauss law and explain any one applications of Gauss law. And question number 2b, given two vectors capital A bar is equal 3ax bar plus 4ay bar minus 5az bar, and the vector B bar is equal minus 6ax bar plus 2ay bar minus 45az bar. Determine the unit vector normal to the plane containing the vectors capital A bar and capital B bar. And this is the question number 2 in essay type questions in unit number 1. And the choice question in this unit is: derive the expression for energy stored in an electrostatic field in terms of field components. And question number 3b is: 2-point charges 10 microcoulombs are located at 1, 0, 5 and 1, 1, 0 respectively. Find the potential at 1, 0, 1, assuming zero potential at infinity. And this is a choice question and in unit 1. So first we are going to discuss about short answer questions. Question number 1a. So that is: find the electric field intensity capital E at 1, 1, 1 if the given potential is V is equal xyz square plus x square yz plus xy square z. See in the bracket that V is the volts. Voltage is measured in volts. So coming to the solution. So given that the potential V is equal xyz square plus x square yz plus xy square z. So calculate the electric potential, electric field intensity. So we know that the relation between electric field intensity and electric potential is the electric field intensity is negative gradient of the electric potential, that is E bar is equal to minus del V, where del V is the potential gradient of the potential. So we know that the gradient of the potential is del V is equal dou V by dou x ax bar plus dou V by dou y ay bar plus dou V by dou z az bar. So given that potential is there, first calculate dou V by dou x, dou V by dou y, dou V by dou z. So differentiating given potential with respect to x, we get dou V by dou x. Differentiating given potential V with respect to y, we get dou V by dou y. And after that differentiating given potential V with respect to z, we get dou V by dou z. So differentiating with respect to x, remaining parameters are constants. Y and z are constants. And differentiating with respect to y and remaining x and z parameters are constant. Similarly, differentiating with respect to z, x and y are constant. So first differentiating given potential V with respect to x, dou v by dou x is yz square, dou v by dou y is x square z. X square z is constant. Differentiate with respect to y, dou by dou y into y is 1. And differentiate in respect to z, dou v by dou z is equal to x y square. And substitute dou v by dou x, dou v by dou y, dou v by dou z values into gradient of the potential expression. We get del v is equal y z square ax bar plus x square z ay bar plus x y square az bar. So we know that the potential electric field intensity is negative gradient of the potential, that is E bar is equal minus del V, and substitute del V value into this equation. We get E bar is equal minus yz square ax bar minus x square z ay bar minus xy square az bar. And the magnitude of electric field intensity is square root of minus yz square whole square plus minus x square z whole square plus minus xy square whole square. So that is equal E is equal square root of yz square whole square plus x square z whole square plus xy square whole square. So now we are going to calculate the potential. Calculate the potential at 1 comma, calculate the electric field intensity at 1 comma 1 comma 1 1 comma 1 comma 1. In this equation substitute 1 comma 1 comma 1, we get the electric field intensity E. At 1 comma 1, we get the magnitude of the electric field intensity. So what is the x value? X is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, and z is equal to 1. X is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, and z is equal to 1. Substitute x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, and z is equal to 1 into this equation. 1 into 1 square. 1 square is 1, 1 into 1, 1, 1 square into 1, plus 1 into 1 square, 1 plus 1 is square root of 3. Square root of 3. At 1 comma 1, the magnitude of the electric field intensity is square root of 3. So this is the potential electric field intensity at 1 comma 1 comma 1. And in terms of unit vector, in that expression substitute x, y, z values, that is 1 comma 1 comma 1, we get the electric field intensity bar is equal to minus ax bar minus ay bar minus az bar. Okay, so this is the question number 1a explanation. And coming to the question number 1b, the question number 1b is, what are the boundary conditions for electric field at the perfect dielectric conductor interface? So what is the boundary condition? When the electric field passes from one medium to other medium, when the electric field passes from one medium to other medium, it is called as boundary conditions, or the boundary between boundary conditions. To study the boundary conditions at the boundary between two mediums. So now here, this is the short answer question. Because of that, we can write down only conditions. Boundary conditions, electric field at the perfect dielectric conductor interface. The tangential component of the electric field intensity is 0. The tangential component of the electric field intensity is 0. That meaning is the tangential component of the electric field intensity is 0 at the boundary between conductor and free space. The free space is nothing but free space is nothing but dielectric. So the boundary between conductor and free space is also called as boundary between conductor and dielectric. So the boundary between conductor and dielectric, the tangential component value is 0. But we know that the relationship between electric field intensity and electric flux density, E bar is equal to epsilon into E bar. So because of that, here the tangential component of the electric field intensity is 0. Then the tangential component of the electric flux density is also 0. That is, D tangential is equal to 0. So that means that the tangential component of the electric flux density is 0 at the boundary between conductor and free space. And the normal components values. And the normal components value of the electric flux density is rho s. At the boundary between conductor and free space, the flux density can exist only on the surface of the charge density. At the boundary of the surface, the charge can exist in the form of the surface charge density only. That is, dN is equal to rho s. And the tangential component of the electric field intensity at the boundary in both the dielectrics remain same. That is, tangential component of the electric field intensity in region 1 is equal to tangential component of the electric field intensity in region 2. So that is the boundary between two perfect dielectric materials conditions. So this is the short answer questions. Because of that, we explain only conditions of the boundary between conductor and free space. Next, coming to the essay type question. Question number 2A is state and prove Gauss law and explain any one application of Gauss law. And question number 2B is given that two vectors capital A bar and capital B bar are there. Determine the unit vector normal to the plane containing the vectors capital A bar and capital B bar. First, we are going to discuss about question number 2A explanation. What is the question number 2A? State and prove Gauss law. What is the statement of Gauss law? Consider any closed surface, any irregular closed surface. The electric flux passing through the closed surface is equal to the charge enclosed by that surface. Electric flux is passing through the closed surface is equal to charge enclosed by that surface. So that is mathematically the flux psi is equal closed surface integral of d bar by ds square is equal to q. So this is the statement of the Gauss law. Now coming to the proof of the Gauss law. Consider a spherical coordinate system, and this is a spherical coordinate system. In the spherical coordinate system, consider the point P consider point P on the sphere. At that point P, consider differential surface ds. At that point P, the direction of the electric flux density is always moving radially outward direction, that is along R bar direction. So consider a point charge Q is located at the origin. A point charge Q is located at the origin. Draw the line from origin to the point P. From here to here, radius of the sphere is small a meters. And this is R is equal to A. R is equal to A, radius of the sphere. R is equal to A. Okay, at the point charge Q is located at the origin, let us determine the electric flux density d bar and apply the Gauss law. Consider a spherical around the charge Q with center as origin. This spherical surface is a Gaussian surface and it satisfies some of the important conditions. So that are, at that point P, at any point on the sphere, the direction of the electric flux density is always moving radially outward direction, that is R bar direction, so which is shown in above figure. At that point P, the differential surface is ds. At that point P, the direction of the differential vector surface area is normal to the surface, normal to the surface. Now we have to consider the spherical coordinate system. In spherical coordinate system is the differential vector surface area is ds bar is equal ds into an bar, where an bar is the unit vector in the direction normal to the surface. Now here the differential vector surface area is along ar bar direction. So because of that, in spherical coordinate system, the differential vector surface area normal to the r direction is ds bar is equal r square sine theta d phi ar bar. So what is r is equal to a? R is equal to a is the radius of the sphere. Radius of the sphere. And substitute r is equal to a into this equation. We get ds is equal r is equal to a square sin theta d phi. And what is the direction of the electric flux density? The direction of the electric flux density at the point P is always moving radially upward direction. That is ds bar is equal d into ar bar in spherical coordinate system. But we know that the electric flux density at any point P due to the charge Q is located at the origin. Now we are in the spherical coordinate system. At the origin, point charge Q is located. At that point P, the electric flux density due to the point charge Q is located is given by d bar is equal to Q by 4 pi r square into ar bar. So this is the d bar value. Now here r is equal to a is the radius of the sphere. Substitute r is equal to a into in this equation. We get d bar is equal q by 4 pi a square into r bar, and ds bar value is a square sin theta d pi ar bar. Now take a square sin theta d pi ar bar. Now take the dot product of d bar and ds bar. We get d bar dot ds bar. D bar is q by 4 pi a square ar bar dot ds bar is a square sin theta d pi ar bar. But we know that dot product of the same unit vector is always unity. That is ar bar dot ar bar is equal to 1. We get d bar dot ds bar is equal q by 4 pi a square into a square sin theta d pi. Numerator and denominator a square is cancelled. We get d bar dot ds bar is equal q by 4 pi into sin theta d pi. According to the statement of the Gauss law, d bar dot ds bar is equal to d psi. So d psi is equal to that. And this is the differential flux. Now we want to total flux. How to calculate the total flux? Integrating on both sides over closed surface. Psi is equal surface integral of RHS term. Surface integral means there are two integrals. Now what are the two integrals? One is with respect to theta and another one is with respect to pi. In spherical coordinate system, the range of theta is varies from 0 to pi and pi is varies from 0 to 2 pi. So that is equal the RHS term of this equation may also be written as q by 4 pi integral theta is equal to 0 to pi sin theta d theta into integral pi is equal to 0 to pi 1 into d pi. So integral sin theta d theta is minus cos theta over 0 to pi, and integral 1 d pi is pi over 0 to 2 pi. Now substitute the upper value and lower value of theta and upper value and lower value of pi. We get psi is equal q by 4 pi into. Now we will substitute the upper value of theta minus cos pi minus cos 0 minus into minus plus cos 0. Cos pi value is minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 2. Before minus is there, multiplying minus in the bracket term 2 into 2 4 pi, and numerator and denominator 4 pi is cancelled. We get psi is equal to q. This is the proof of the Gauss law. This is the proof of the Gauss law. Hence, the Gauss law is verified, proved. What is the statement of the Gauss law? the electric flux passing through any closed surface is equal to charge enclosed by that surface, that is psi is equal to q. Hence, the Gauss law is verified. And question number 2a, what is the question number 2a? State and prove Gauss law and explain any one of the application. There are different applications of the Gauss law, that is electric flux density due to the point charge, electric flux density due to infinite line charge, and electric flux density due to infinite sheet of the charge, electric flux density due to coaxial cable, electric flux density due to spherical cell of the charge, and electric flux density due to informed charged sphere. So these are the different applications of Gauss law and explain any one application of the Gauss law. Now here I explain one of the applications of the Gauss law, that is electric flux density due to the point charge. Electric flux density due to point charge application. Suppose a point charge Q is located at the origin. Consider the sphere around the charge Q. At any point on the sphere, consider point P. Point P is considered at any point on the sphere. Draw the line from origin to the point P along this direction. The direction of the electric flux density is always moving radially outward direction. Okay, suppose a point charge Q is located at the origin, so which is shown in the figure. Consider the Gaussian surface around the charge Q. So draw the line from origin to the point P. From origin to the point P, the distance is r. Smaller is the radius of the sphere. At that point P, the direction of the electric flux density is always moving radially outward direction. And consider differential vector surface area ds at point P. At that point P, the differential vector surface area is normal to the surface. So therefore, the vector form of the electric flux density d bar is equal. Now here, consider the Gaussian sphere. Gaussian surface is considered as a sphere. So consider spherical coordinate system. In spherical coordinate system, the vector form of the electric flux density is d bar is equal dr ar bar plus d theta a theta bar plus d phi a phi bar. At any point on the surface or at any point on the sphere, so what is the direction of the electric flux density? It is always moving radial direction, not varying theta direction and not varying phi direction. It is varying only r direction. So because of that, the electric flux density d bar is equal dr into r bar. So at that point P in spherical coordinate system, the differential vector surface area normal to r direction is ds bar is equal r square sin theta d theta d phi into r bar. So now take the dot product of d bar and ds bar. We get d bar dot ds bar is equal d bar is dr into r bar, ds bar is r square sin theta d theta d phi r bar. We know that dot product of the same unit vector is unity. Here a bar dot a bar is equal to 1. We get the remaining RHS term is dr into r square sin theta d theta d phi. So using the statement of the Gauss law, d bar dot ds bar is equal to d psi, or taking the closed surface integral on both sides. We get closed surface integral of LHS term is equal to closed surface integral of RHS term. So that is closed surface integral of d bar dot ds bar is equal to closed surface integral of dr r square sin theta d theta d phi. Now where the surface integral means there are two integrals, that is one is with respect to theta and another one is with respect to phi. We get LHS term is charge enclosed by that surface, that is q. dr into r square is constant, that is written before integration. Integral in spherical coordinate system, the range of the theta is 0 to pi and range of the pi is 0 to 2 pi. That is integral theta is equal to 0 to pi sin theta d theta integral pi is equal to 0 to pi 1 d pi. So reducing the above equation, RHS term of the above equation, integral sin theta is minus cos theta over 0 to pi. So minus of cos theta, applying the upper value of theta and lower value of theta, cos pi minus cos 0. Cos pi value is minus 1, minus cos 0 value is 1. Minus 1, minus 1, minus 2. Before already minus is there, minus into minus 2. Integral 1 d pi is pi over 0 to 2 pi. Applying the upper value of pi and lower value of pi, we get 2 pi. 2 into 2 pi, 4 pi. Therefore, Q is equal dr into r square 4 pi. So from this equation, the magnitude of the electric flux density dr is equal Q by 4 pi r square. At any point on this sphere, what is the direction of the electric flux density? It is varying only radial direction. That is, d bar is equal to dr into ar bar. Now here, what is the dr value? Q by 4 pi r square. And substitute this dr value into this equation, this equation, we get the electric flux density d bar is equal Q by 4 pi r square into ar bar. Q by 4 pi r square into ar bar. So this is the equation of the electric flux density at point P due to the point charge Q is located at the origin. Next, calculate the electric field intensity. But we know that the relation between electric field intensity and electric flux density are related to the permittivity of the medium, that is, d bar is equal to epsilon into E bar. So using that expression, the value of the electric flux density E bar is equal Q by 4 pi epsilon r square into AR bar. So this is the application of electric field intensity and electric flux density due to the point charge. So this is question number 2a. Next, coming to question number 2b. So given that there are two vectors, capital A bar is equal 3ax bar plus 4ay bar minus 5az bar, and the vector B bar is equal minus 6ax bar plus 2ay bar minus 45az bar. Calculate unit vector normal to the plane containing the vectors A bar and B bar. So we know that the unit vector normal to the plane containing the unit vectors A bar and B bar is A bar cross B bar by magnitude of A bar cross B bar. So first to calculate A bar cross B bar. So now calculate A bar cross B bar, AX bar, AY bar and AZ bar. From the given data, the vector A bar, AX bar component is 3, AY bar component is 4, AZ bar component is minus 5, and the vector B bar, AX bar component is minus 6, AY bar component is 2, AZ bar component is minus 45. So using matrix notation, matrix simplification, this RHS term of the matrix can be simplified as, can be reduced as AX bar into this minus this into this minus AY bar into this minus this into this plus AZ bar into this minus this into this. So therefore A bar cross B bar is equal AX bar into minus 45 into 4 minus 180 minus into 2 into minus 5 minus 10 minus into minus plus 10 minus AY bar into 3 into minus 45 minus 135 minus 5 into minus 6 30 minus 30 plus AZ bar into 3 into minus 45, sorry, AZ bar 3 into 2 6, 3 into 2 6 minus 4 into 6 24. So plus 24 3 into 2 6 6 into 4 minus 24 minus into minus plus 24. So this is plus 30 z bar. So z bar into 3 into 2 6 minus 4 into minus 6 minus 24 minus into minus plus 24. Therefore, a bar cross b bar is equal minus 178 bar plus 165 ay bar plus 30 z bar. Now take the next calculate the magnitude. Take the magnitude on both sides. We get magnitude of LHS term is square root of minus 170 whole square plus 165 whole square plus 30 whole square. So that is equal magnitude of a bar cross b bar is equal. So 170 square plus 165 square plus 30 square value is 57,025. That is equal square root of 57,025 is 238.799. So that is the magnitude of a bar cross b bar. So next calculate a unit vector normal to the plane containing the vectors a bar and b bar is a bar cross b bar by magnitude of a bar cross b bar. Already a bar cross b bar and magnitude of a bar cross b bar value is calculated, and substitute a bar cross b bar and magnitude of a bar cross b bar values into here. We get minus 170 ax bar plus 165 ay bar plus 30 az bar by 238.799. So dividing minus 170 by 238.7 plus 165 by 238 plus 30 by 238.7, we get a bar cross b bar by magnitude of a bar cross b bar is equal minus 0.711 x bar plus 0.69 ay bar plus 0.12 aj bar. So this is the second bit solution. Next, coming to the third question, choice question in unit 1. Derive the expression for energy stored in an electrostatic field in terms of the field quantities. So first we are going to discuss about question number 3a, and after that we will discuss about question number 3b. So find out the expression of the energy stored in electrostatic field in terms of the field components. In electrostatic, what are the field components? Electric field intensity and electric flux density are the field components. So consider the volume charge distribution having the uniform charge density is rho v coulombs per meter cube. Hence, the total energy stored in volume is given by or defined as W suffix P is equal 1 by 2 volume integral of rho v into V into dV. So this is the equation of total energy stored in volume. But according to the differential form of the Maxwell equation, del dot d bar is equal to rho v. So in this equation, rho v is the volume charge density, and substitute rho v is equal to del dot d bar value into above expression. We get energy stored W is equal 1 by 2 volume integral of del dot d bar into V dV. So now here d bar is the vector quantity and V is the scalar quantity. Any vector a bar and the scalar V using vector identity del dot A bar into V is equal del dot VA bar minus A bar dot del V. Del dot A bar into V is equal del dot VA bar minus A bar dot del V. In the above equation, del dot D bar into V. So D bar is the vector and V is the scalar. So therefore, applying this vector quantity into above expression, we get the energy stored is W suffix E is equal 1 by 2 volume integral of del dot VD bar minus D bar dot del V. So that is equal, applying integration into both the terms, we get 1 by 2 volume integral of del dot VD bar dV minus 1 by 2 volume integral of D bar dot del V dV. So using divergence theorem, the volume integral will be converted to the closed surface integral. So what is the statement of the divergence theorem? The closed surface integral of A bar dot ds bar is equal open volume integral of del dot A bar into dV. So capital A bar is the vector. Now here D bar is the vector. So the first term of this equation will be converted to the closed surface integral. So using divergence theorem, closed surface integral of VD bar dot ds bar is equal open volume integral of del dot VD bar into dV. And substitute first term, this is the volume integral, that is equal, that will be converted into closed surface integral. And substitute this value into this equation 1, we get the energy stored W is equal 1 by 2 closed surface integral of V d bar dot ds bar minus 1 by 2 volume integral of d bar dot del V into dV. So now here, in case of for point charges, the electric potential is inversely proportional to the distance and electric field intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance, that is V directly proportional to 1 by R and electric field intensity or electric flux density is directly proportional to 1 by R square for the point charges. In case of dipole means arrangement of the 2 point charges is called as the dipole. In case of dipoles, the electric potential is inversely proportional to square of the distance and electric field intensity and electric flux density is inversely proportional to the cube of the distance. So that is V is directly proportional to 1 by R square and flux density is directly proportional to 1 by R cube for the dipole case. So if you take the product of V into d bar, V is the potential and d bar is the flux density, for the point charge place, V is directly proportional to 1 by R, d bar is directly proportional to 1 by R square. So now take the dot product of V into d bar. So what is the V? So V is V into d bar. For the point charges, V is directly proportional to 1 by R and d bar is directly proportional to 1 by R square. 1 by R into 1 by R square, 1 by R cube. Now we have the surface integral ds. ds is varies as R square. ds is varies as R square. V into d bar is varies as 1 by R cube and ds is varies as R square. Therefore, V into d bar dot ds bar, V d bar is varies as 1 by R cube and ds bar is varies as R square. That is equal 1 by R. 1 by R. As the surface becomes very large, the closed surface becomes very large. As the surface becomes very large, the distance R tends to infinity. And the distance R tends to infinity mean, and the distance R tends to infinity mean 1 by R tends to 0. So therefore, V d bar dot ds bar is equal to 0. V d bar dot ds bar is equal to 0. Therefore, the first term of the surface integral becomes 0. So that is equal, energy stored value is W bar is equal, the first term is 0 minus 1 by 2 volume integral of del dot d bar dot del V into dV. But we know that the electric field intensity is negative gradient of the potential, that is E bar is equal to minus del V, and substitute del V is equal to minus E bar. In this expression we get the energy stored value is minus 1 by 2 volume integral of d bar dot minus E bar, del V is equal to minus E bar. Already before minus is there, minus into minus plus, that is equal 1 by 2 into volume integral of 1 by 2 volume integral of d bar dot E bar. The energy stored in electrostatics in terms of field components, that stored energy value is 1 by 2 volume integral of d bar dot E bar into dV. The d bar is the electric flux density and E bar is the electric field intensity. And another relations of the energy stored, but we know that the electric field intensity and electric flux density are related to the permittivity of the medium, that is d bar is equal to epsilon naught into E bar, and substitute d bar is equal to epsilon naught into E bar into this equation. We get another expression of energy stored. Energy stored is W is equal epsilon naught by 2 into volume integral of E bar dot E bar magnitude of E bar square into dV, and one more expression, and substitute E bar, D bar is equal to epsilon naught into E bar is equal D bar by epsilon naught, and substitute E bar value into this equation. Substitute E bar is equal to d bar by epsilon naught into this equation. We get the energy stored value of the another expression is W is equal 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught volume integral of magnitude of E square into dV. So that is question number 3A explanation. Next, coming to the question number 3B. 2 point charges 10 microcoulombs are located at 1, 0, 5 and 1, 1, 0 respectively. Find the potential at 1, 0, 1, assuming zero potential at infinity. So now we are given that there are 2 point charges, that is 10 microcoulombs charges. Both the point charges having same value, that is 10 microcoulombs and 10 microcoulombs. And the first point charge 10 microcoulombs is located at 1, 0, 5 coordinate point, and the second point charge Q2 is equal 10 microcoulombs is located at 1, 1, 0. Calculate the potential at 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. So determine electric potential 1, 0, 1. And after that, draw the line from first point charge to 1, 0, 1 point. Next, draw the vector line from second point charge to 1, 0, 1. And the distance between these 2 points is capital R1, and the distance between these 2 points is capital R2. The distance R1 can be estimated as, now where the potential is calculated at 1, 0, 1. Because of that, the distance capital R1 is equal this coordinate point minus this coordinate point. Similarly, the distance R2 is equal this coordinate point minus this coordinate point. Now here both the point charges are same. So calculate the potential at 1, 0, 1. Therefore, the total potential or the net potential at 1, 0, 1 is algebraic summation of the individual potential, that is V1 plus V2, where V1 is the potential at 1, 0, 1 due to the first point charge Q1, and V2 is the potential at 1, 0, 1 due to the second point Q2. So therefore, the net potential at 1, 0, 1 is V is equal Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught R1 plus Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught R2. So first calculate magnitude of R1 and magnitude of R2. So magnitude of R1 is 1, 0, 1 coordinate point minus 1, 0, 5 coordinate point. So magnitude of R1 is equal square root of 1 minus 1 whole square plus 0 minus 0 whole square plus 1 minus 5 whole square, that is equal square root of 16 is 4. Next, magnitude of R2 is equal 1 comma 0 comma 1 minus 1 comma 1 comma 0. So that is square root of 1 minus 1 whole square plus 0 minus 1 whole square plus 1 plus 0 whole square, that is equal to square root of 2. So now substitute Q1, Q2, Q1, Q2, R1 and R2 values into above expression. We get the net potential or the total potential V is equal. So Q1 is 10 microcoulombs, 10 into 10 to the power of minus 10 minus 6 by 4 pi into epsilon naught value is 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into R1 is 4 plus Q2 10 into 10 to the power of minus 6 by 4 pi into 8.854 into 10 to the power of minus 12 into square root of 2. And reducing this value, we get the potential at 1 comma 0 comma 1 is 86.139 kilovolts.